back to another episode of DJ's Garage. I want to start off by saying Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a great time. This video is just going to be more so a vlog. Never done one before. it's a little odd for me to do this. So bear with me. I just want to go through an overview of everything that I've got planned for 2020. And show you guys what's coming to the channel, what's new. We're gonna try to, build this channel. So without any further ado, I want to go through the things we have in the garage, things that we're working on. Then we'll go outside and I'll show you everything we've got going on outside. But let's get started. So first off, you see the ultrasonic cleaner. I just recently got this. I haven't even gotten to use it yet. I'm hoping to be able to use it in the near future. It's got heat settings and timers, so you can cook and clean your things all in one, which is pretty cool. This is what I decided to run in it. I'm hoping it does pretty good. We're going to start with a carburetor in the ultrasonic cleaner, or maybe, I don't know, a small part just to test it out, see how it's going to do, and then move on from there. So then on the workbench we have the RMZ 250 engine that we've been working on. I don't think any videos of it have come out yet. Air hose out of the way. But there are videos coming for that. I've actually made, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos on rebuilding and modifying the bottom end. Pretty much just building a really awesome transmission. So that'll be coming soon. We're slowly but surely plugging away at that, and yeah. So then we'll move on to this side of the garage. Over here we have a LS engine. The intake's not currently on it, as you can see, but I'm going to tear this engine completely down. We're going to essentially just completely rebuild it. I want to clean up the block and paint it, so if you guys have any suggestions on painting this block, you let me know and we'll make it happen. But this engine is actually being built. I'm going to do a V8 swap in my Wrangler. So that is going to be an insanely fun project. I'm pretty excited about that. I know a lot of people do LS swaps and Jeeps and make them V8s and everything like that. I've always really enjoyed it. I've wanted to do it myself, and we're just going to make it happen finally. So after that, since the intake isn't on it right now, I'll try to keep it covered up. So, and then behind it you see a exhaust system. It's a complete exhaust system. We'll get into that directly. So let me open the garage door. So first thing you see is one of the most recent vehicles added to the fleet. This is a 2005 Nissan Armada. It's a V8, 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. We picked it up. We'll get into some detail on that shortly as well. And then off to the side you see the Murray go-kart. It's pretty well finished. We did end up painting the primered spots on it. And then my Wrangler. And then off to this side you see the Suzuki RMZ and the Kawasaki Vulcan 1500. And then we've also got the Ford Taurus, and we picked up a Subaru Legacy. It's a 2005. Got the Boxer engine in it. It's going to be a pretty awesome little car when it's completely finished. The exhaust in the garage actually belongs to that vehicle. and then we come over to this side, and there's the Jeep Cherokee. With that being said, those are the projects that we're working on right now. We'll dive into the Nissan first. I'll give you guys an overview of everything about it, and then we'll get into the Subaru. And yeah, so let me close that garage door. It's a little chilly. There was snow on the ground this morning. Let's get into the Nissan Armada. Alright, so I got a tip from one of my buddies about that particular vehicle. And he said, you know, hey, this dealership, they have this vehicle for sale. You might want to go check it out. So I did. I looked at it, and well, let's start from the beginning. So I get the phone call. I go down there, and I'm looking it over. Now I've bought several vehicles from dealerships, and most of the time when I go to a dealership, I have to seek out a salesman. They don't just come up to me and start talking to me. I guess I don't look like I'm financially stable, or I don't look like the kind of guy that would have the credit to buy a vehicle. I don't know. But they don't usually just come up to me. I don't know whether or not it's because they don't think I have any money, or because I don't look like the kind of person that would buy a vehicle. I don't know. But I usually have to seek them out. So I go down to this dealership, and I'm looking for this vehicle, the Nissan, that I got tipped about. And while I was down there looking around, one of their salesmen walks up to me, and he's like, hey, can I help you with anything? And, you know, just starts a conversation with me, and that just blew my mind. I didn't get his permission to throw his name out, so I'm not going to. But he does have my YouTube information. If you see this, let me know, and I will put your name out there. Give you a shout out, give the dealership a shout out, because truly it impressed me that I didn't have to seek anybody out at this dealership. They came to me, and the cool thing about it was he was an insanely friendly guy. I mean, he was a nice guy. But when he came up to me, I told him, you know, hey, I'm looking for this vehicle. You know, I was told that it was down here for sale. And he was like, oh yeah, pointed me in the direction. And then again, this guy floors me. We'll just call him John for the sake of the video. So John's like, yeah, do you want to take it for a test drive? I was like, yeah, I'd love to, you know. So he's like, all right, give me 1 second. So he goes in the dealership, grabs the keys, grabs a dealer tag, comes back out, and hands me the dealer tag and the keys, and he's like, hey, go ahead and take it for a test drive. Blew my mind. First off, I went to this dealership. Now, I've had several dealings with dealerships in the past, and they don't ever just come up to me and talk to me. I have to seek them out, which is not entirely how it should work, I don't think. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. But this guy, you know, super friendly guy, just hands me the keys, hands me a dealer tag, you know, comes up to me, starts a conversation. Really, really great guy. I enjoyed that thoroughly. He was a good guy. John gives me the keys to the vehicle and the dealer tag, so I stick the dealer tag on the vehicle, grab the keys, get inside of it, start it up, instantly notice an exhaust leak, and I'm like, it's not that big a deal, you know, whatever. So after I drive away from the dealership, I bring it to my house so Megan can look at it. Megan fell in love with it instantly, so I was like, alright, well, I'll buy it. So I go back down to the dealership and start talking to John about it. You know, I give him his dealer tag back, I give him his keys back, and you know, we start chit-chatting back and forth. This guy's a really great guy, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed talking with him. So by this time, it was like 7 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know, they were getting ready to close the dealership. So I was like, alright, well, that's fine. The next day, I go up there with the cash to buy the vehicle, and I show up early in the morning, that way I can get everything taken care of. And again, this dealership was very kind. You know, they actually met me at my vehicle. I mean, they saw me the previous day, knew that I was going to buy the vehicle. So with that being said, that was really nice. I really had a pretty good experience with this dealership. You know, I didn't have to seek anybody out. They helped me find exactly what I was looking for, and they didn't even hesitate to let me test drive the vehicle. You know, that's saying something. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, you know, there's quite a bit of collateral. I had my 2018 Jeep sitting in their parking lot, so I could take that vehicle. So I mean, there was collateral there. I'm pretty sure they didn't think that I was going to steal it. So, or at least I would hope that they wouldn't need the collateral, that they just trusted me as a human being. This day and age, that's a little hard to do, but I'm hoping that they just trusted me in general to not steal the vehicle. But it worked out in the end. Anyway, I ended up buying it, as you can see. Now the pros to this vehicle. It's a full-size four-wheel drive V8 SUV. Those are pros. I mean, that's awesome. Granted, it's not going to be that good on gas, but as you saw, I've got plenty of vehicles. I don't have to worry too much about gas. It's third row, which is awesome. Every vehicle we have seats 5, except for that one and my Jeep. My Jeep only seats 4, my Wrangler. So we have 5 people in our family, so anytime we want to go somewhere, we load the vehicle completely up, and that's the end of it. So if one of the boys has a friend stay over, we can't go anywhere unless we take 2 vehicles. It's not ideal. It's not fun. So that was the biggest motivation to buy that vehicle. Now, another pro to it is the cost. Now, I ended up picking this vehicle up for $3,500. That is a steal at a dealership. It's only got 140,000 miles on it. It's in pretty good shape. So that's pretty well all the pros to it. Now let's go through the cons. The cons of the vehicle: it's got an exhaust leak. I did notice uneven wear to the front driver's side tires, so I assumed it was probably a ball joint or tie rods. But the passenger tire was worn evenly, so I kind of just didn't really pay too much attention to tie rods at that point. So I get a hold of another buddy of mine. He works in a garage, and I'm like, hey, I just picked up this vehicle. I'd like you guys to put it on your lift and tell me exactly what's wrong with the suspension, just because it's so much easier for me to have somebody pick the entire vehicle up so we can look at everything. And they put it up on the lift, and they go through it, and we find out that the driver's side lower ball joint is bad, which I assumed just because of looking at the wear on the tire. Found out that the tie rods are bad, which isn't that big a deal, and the lower control arms in the rear end, in order to do a rear end alignment, I need to replace those, just because the threads are rusted up. You know how, I mean, it's a 2005. It's had 15 years of salt, dirt, and grime. So the threads on the bolts to align the tires are pretty nasty. It'd be very hard to do an alignment on that vehicle. So that's all good and well. And then the exhaust leak. I assumed, because the exhaust leak was coming from around the engine bay, so I assumed either a manifold gasket or a donut gasket. So they diagnosed it, and it turns out that the manifold actually has a crack in it. And I was like, oh, that sucks. If it's a cast iron or cast aluminum manifold, then I'm not going to be able to weld it up. I could probably braze it, but I don't know if I could weld it. So I started doing some research and find out that it is actually a stainless manifold, which is amazing because I can weld that up. And it was $700 for the new manifold. I'm not paying that. I'm not going to do it. I'll fix the one I've got now that I know it's stainless. So that's not that big a deal. I'll buy a donut gasket and a manifold gasket, take that manifold off and weld it up, put new gaskets on it, exhaust leak is fixed. Now on to the ball joints and tie rods. I've already bought those. $207 is what it cost me to buy all 4 tie rods and the one lower ball joint that was bad. Now I want to get into cost versus profit really quick with you guys. So that vehicle, for the shape that it's in, the amount of miles that's on it, and the year, that vehicle books for $7,500. So I paid $3,500 for it. I bought $207 worth of parts, and I'm going to outsource the ball joint to the same shop that diagnosed everything for me, just because I know those guys, they work really hard, they're great guys. I want them to have my business. So with that being said, the ball joint I'm going to source out. I don't know how much that's going to cost, but the tie rods I'll do myself. That's not that big a deal. The lower control arms I'll do myself. Sorry about that. Camera died, so I set you guys up in a different position just so I can plug the camera in while I finish this video. Anyway, so where were we? Oh, control arms. Replacing the control arms. I priced those. The driver side was $350 and the passenger side was $250. So we're looking at $600 for lower control arms for the rear end, so we can do a rear end alignment. Now in the long run, that's going to save us a lot of money because we're not going to constantly have to buy tires because they're wearing unevenly. Alright, so that brings me on to my next subject, tires. I priced the tires for the vehicle. They were $650 roughly for all 4 tires. So $600 for lower control arms, $207 for the tie rods and the ball joint, and then another $650 for tires. Now, so we paid $3,500 for the vehicle. We're going to have $600 in, well, $650 in parts, or tires, sorry. Alright, so that puts us up to $4,150, and then another $707 in parts. So now we're at, what is that, $31.50 or $41.50, $48.57 for parts. So our profit margin for this vehicle is still fairly large. If we decide we want to sell it, we can still make a pretty decent profit, and the vehicle will be structurally sound. We don't have to worry about anything breaking. If somebody buys it, loads their kids up, and tries to go on a long road trip, I'm not gonna worry about, you know, I just sold somebody a vehicle that could potentially kill them. That's the way I look at things. If I sell a vehicle, I need to know what's wrong with it, fix it, and then sell it. Or if I'm just going to cut my losses because it's going to cost too much to fix the vehicle and I know there's no profit in it for me, then I'm going to tell the buyer what's wrong with the vehicle, because I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want to sell somebody something that's going to be a piece of crap and they end up getting hurt, or their entire family gets hurt, or an innocent person that had nothing to do with any of this get hurt. That's where I stand with what I do as far as buying and selling things and working on things and building things. So that's pretty much it for the Nissan. It's a pretty good vehicle. I mean, it starts right up, runs good, drives good. Just needs a little bit of work, a little bit of love. I don't plan on selling that. Megan really likes it. Megan really wants it. Plus, the ease of not having to take 2 vehicles when there's more than 5 of us is going to be fantastic. Just getting everything done with it that needs done. It's going to take a little bit of time, not too long. Like I say, I've already bought the parts. I've just got to do it. It's rained the last 2 days, and then it snowed this morning, and it's super cold. So I'm not gonna fool with it right now. But this coming weekend, it's supposed to be a really nice weekend. It's supposed to be in the 60s. That's fantastic. That's it's the perfect time to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on it this weekend, this coming weekend. Now on to the Subaru. I bought it because I want a better work vehicle than the Taurus. Now I don't want to take anything from the Taurus because structurally it's fine. There's no mechanical issues with it. I just don't like the car. It's a big full-size sedan. It's heavy, sluggish. It's got a V6 in it. It's not the best on gas, and I just want something that's a little bit more feasible, because my drive to and from work round trip is a little over 100 miles a day, anywhere from 5 to 6 days a week. So it costs me quite a bit to drive back and forth to work. If I can get a vehicle that's going to be better on gas, I'm going to do that. The added benefit to the Subaru is that it's also an all-wheel drive vehicle. Now, I live up north where it snows and gets icy and it's nasty, and having an all-wheel drive car is definitely going to be a lot better than a two-wheel drive full-size car. Now, the Subaru's got a 4-cylinder in it. It's got the Boxer engine, like I said. It's also an all-wheel drive car. It's about 2 feet shorter than the Taurus and about 6 inches to a foot narrower than the Taurus. So it's lighter. All 4 tires are gonna pull, and it's gonna get better gas mileage. It's a no-brainer. I'm gonna want that vehicle, right? So I acquired it. Now it's got some issues. The front tires are pretty bald. I'm going to need to put tires on it, which isn't that big a deal because it's a car. It's got small tires on it. I've got budgeted probably maximum $500 for tires, maybe more. It's give or take. The exhaust is sitting behind me. I need to get the exhaust put back on. And pretty much just I want to jack the front end up and go through the suspension in the front end and make sure that the tie rods, ball joints, and everything are good in it, just because the tires are worn, and I want to make sure everything is okay with it before I decide to start driving it over 100 miles a day. But other than that, that car runs and drives. It's a pretty good car, actually. It does have quite a few miles on it, though. It's got 208,000 miles on it. But I know the previous owner of the car, and he took pretty good care of it. He actually had it for a long time. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be the next series of projects that are filmed and put on my channel after the Nissan. The Nissan will be priority right now. Then we'll work on the Subaru. Once the Subaru's done, we also need to finish the RMZ, and then we're going to start on that LS engine. That is the 6.0 liter LS engine. It's a stud. Now, I know a lot of people kind of dog the 6.0s because they're a lazy engine. They're sluggish at the start, which is not a bad thing. Not for what I want to use it for. Now, they're insanely powerful engines. I mean, they'll pull just about anything. And I don't want something that's super peppy, that's just gonna just hammer on everything as soon as you give it the gas for my Wrangler. I want something that's gonna be a little sluggish, a little lazy at the start, but give me a massive amount of power all the time. That's literally exactly what I want out of that Jeep. So that's the plan. We're gonna do an LS swap in the Wrangler, get the Nissan Armada up to snuff, finish the RMZ build, get the Subaru up to snuff, and hopefully along the way we do a lot more than that. I've got actually quite a few things lined up. I've still got the jet ski engine. I didn't show you guys that. It's a 900cc Kawasaki, came out of the Kawasaki Sea-Doos. I need to get that back in the jet ski, get it up and running. Like I say, the engine has a fresh rebuild on it. It's ready to go. It's just needs put back in, and everything ran, and then it needs put in the water. So that'll also be an upcoming series of videos. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this video today and get it out there, just because it's New Year's and I don't want to wait too long, and I've already got 7 weeks of videos scheduled for every Sunday. I think the video that came out today was the water pump in the 2005 Chevy Silverado. That one came out today. This one's also going to come out today. And then after that, we've got a series of other videos coming out. So that's what's coming up for 2020 in my life. That's what's coming to the channel for 2020. There's also going to be several other things along the way. You can't plan everything. That's just what I know of right now. That's what I've got on hand right now. So please like and subscribe. If you haven't, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the upcoming builds for 2020. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.